Hey team, how we doing? Welcome back to another video. Today's video follows on from the last one where we talked about the leap of faith. This one's about quashing fear, overcoming fear.
Oh, where do we go? What do you want? I don't care! I don't like this!
And not in the sense of handling a snake if you don't like it. I'm talking about in a kind of professional environment. So I, for example, am absolutely shit scared of flying. But when I was the kind of MD, CEO of Brick Live and the chairman of Bright Bricks, I was doing maybe at one point about 120, 130 flights a year. It needs must. So fear. It is a big one in the business world. There's a lot of people that you see rendered impotent in their decision making because of fear. And actually you need to let it be your driver. We've all got fears, we've all got insecurities, be it things like phobias or actually in the workplace. Will it all end tomorrow? And as we've seen with COVID, it showed us that you just don't ever know. You're never truly safe. But actually it also goes to show that we can overcome these things. There will be some devastating consequences of what have happened from COVID, mass unemployment, companies going under. But let's not dwell on that. You've got to look for the opportunity. And as I said in the video earlier, where you write down the challenges. Can you plan for something like COVID? No. But I'd mentioned in a couple of other videos around money. Every 10 years for the past 50, 60 years, there's been some kind of seismic event that has totally shifted the financial landscape of the world.
The place where people were stumbling out of offices on the 15th of September 2008, the world having ended.
Tell the story of the crash of '08 and the recovery.
In 2020, the possibility of recession will once again hang over the world economy, thanks to one thing in particular.
And then over a few years, you build the economy back up, whether that's terror attacks, the market crash in 2008, COVID now. If you look, every kind of 10 years, there will be some seismic event. So we should prepare for that. But you should never let it stop you doing the things that you believe you should do. As we talked about the leap of faith in the other video, you kind of piece all these things together, and that's the decision making of an entrepreneur or a leader, that you accept the risks that you've signed up for, but you mitigate them as best you can. But you have to go at some point, and that's where I talk about not being driven by fear, in the sense of it preventing you from doing what you want to do. Embrace it. It will feel nervous, it will feel energizing if you use it correctly, because there can be a healthy level of fear or insecurity, imposter syndrome, whatever you want to call it. Let it drive you. Let it help you find the problems that you're going to face. Let it help you find the challenges that you need to mitigate, and use it as a motivational tool to overcome those. That can help you, particularly at the beginning phase where you're doing your due diligence and you're working out the plan and your ideas, that you've got a list of hurdles that you need to overcome. There'll come a point where you will not be able to overcome them all pre-making that decision. That's when, as we talked about in the last video, that's the leap of faith moment. That is these last couple of hurdles, that is the cliff edge. I'm going to jump. Gonna jump. I've done everything I can to mitigate what I could potentially face, so I've got to go. And that again leads into the don't allow fear to drive your decision making and prevent you from doing something. Use that fear to drive you to overcome it, to be motivated, to feel that adrenaline rush, to believe that you can do it. Never, ever, ever let fear put you off doing something. Just make sure you plan thoroughly and then you believe. And then, as we said in the other video, please go watch it. Arms out, take that leap. When you're facing into those fears, first off, you've got to actually understand why you've got that fear. There's obviously the fear when you start your own business going bust, at your depth, you don't know what you're doing, can you find the funding? But you've actually got to establish what those fears are. I tend to try and write them down. I just look at them as problems, challenges, because To truly fear something, and I'm talking as someone who's got genuine fears, a fear is totally irrational. A fear is something that there's a reason that you're scared of it, but even in the face of logic, it's still frightening. When you're going into a business, there's nothing you should be truly fearful of. There should be trepidation, there should be anxiety, there should be worry, there will be the unknown, and there will be mistakes. Be under no illusions, there will be plenty of mistakes. But ultimately, you can either outwork it, outthink it, hire in the help, or find people that do know the answers. There is nothing that you cannot work out unless you make the decision to be a kind of brain surgeon with absolutely no qualifications. You're going to be absolutely fine. But principally, if you're going into a subject that you understand, brilliant. Or if you're going into an industry that you don't, it's over to you. You need to do the work. You need to do the research. You need to get yourself comfortable. That fear is there for a reason. It's a healthy fear. It's to keep you safe, to make sure that you don't make irrational, ill thought through decisions that could actually then cost you your company and maybe even your financial security. So actually embrace that fear. That fear is just a little voice on your shoulder, having a little word in your ear to go, are you sure? Make sure you've thought this through. And take that fear and walk it through, blow by blow, step by step. What is it that I'm worried about? Is it something as big as, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm going bust? All of these things can be overcome. But you, as I say, for me, it's writing them down. You walk yourself through the fear process. What are the bits? What are the hurdles that I don't think I know? And then it's a list of solutions. Who doesn't love a solution? Solutions are where the fun is had. Overcoming that challenge, that fear, that insecurity, that's where the buzz is. That is ultimately where the greatest decision makers, the greatest business people thrive, is in the idea of taking a problem and solving it. And your fear is just providing you with a shitload of problems to solve. And over time, you will quash those fears because you'll go, money, I've sourced funding, don't know the industry, I've done my due diligence, I've spoken to other businesses, I've got out there. Do not think you can do it all from your living room. It's not how the business world works. You're going to have to put yourself out there, have conversations that are uncomfortable, that take you out of your comfort zone, because that's what the best businesses do. Not many people get to go into a business where they own the only one that knows, and therefore they've got no competition, and therefore things are going to fly. You're taking somebody else's idea and rehashing it and rebranding it and doing it in a way that you believe is better. Or maybe you're breaking new ground. You're in an industry that's fledgling, but it's still the unknown, and you're going to have to discover the answers so that market can respond. But then you've got to work out how to translate what you've discovered into something that somebody can then purchase or buy. Let the fear drive you. Don't let it render you impotent. We all have it. Every single person that I know that is a leader, a manager, an entrepreneur has the nagging doubt that they're an imposter. They're going to get found out. The money's going to dry up. Or do you know what? I might wake up tomorrow and all the sales have gone. And in the times we live in right now, like with COVID, people did wake up and their jobs were gone the next day. The revenue did disappear. But people get creative. In this scenario, they start selling face masks and hand sanitizers. Entrepreneurs flourish when there are challenges. They adapt to the situations that they are presented with, and they do not let the fear render them impotent. If you're somebody that finds fear crippling, think twice before opening your own business, because you are going to find yourself in a number of scenarios where everyone's looking to you for an answer and you for a solution, and you've got to find it. No one's going to come along, knock on the door and go, oh, by the way, there's some money, there's a solution. You're going to have to go out and find it. This is about that leap of faith that you took, as we talked about in the last video, and you didn't fall flat on your face. Not falling flat on your face is working it out. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching as always. Please like and subscribe, but most importantly, stay safe out there. We'll see you next time. Bye.